Linus.
Oh,
Second show.
we're
That's
carrying
not
the
Linus is not
couch, and
here.
Linus dropped the couch even though he's not here. Austin probably would have helped me carry it the whole way.
Oh, I would totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
definitely.
sure.
Do do do.
Um,
Okay, the sound part's probably done. FreshBooks, yeah, FreshBooks is awesome. Check out freshbooks.com/WAN, and you have to put WAN in the "Who Sent You Here" part. They do some really cool stuff for finances for small businesses and other cool things like that. Also, Dollar Shave Club, you can use it to shave hair on your face, and they're great. DollarShaveClub.com/Linus. Back into the show. Okay, so Apple Watch Edition thing.
okay, so what do you think about just the fact that there's going to be a ten to what, like $18,000 Apple Watch?
I
Like,
think that is a little insane, but I'm not too surprised considering it's a fashion wear item. I'm not surprised. I don't think anyone should buy it. I guess
right.
is what, because like a lot of the different changes that they've been doing since Steve Jobs passed makes me not too surprised that they're going this angle. But yeah, I just wouldn't recommend it to anyone because it's freaking $10,000.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point because, like you said, like Steve Jobs never really did the crazy high premium stuff like this, right? Like, yeah, Apple products have always been expensive, more expensive
Yep.
than what maybe some people think they're worth, but it's not
Yep.
been anything crazy.
And an
But
average Joe could probably save up a little bit and get one.
exactly, and I think
Yeah.
that's been one of the big draws of a lot of Apple products. I think the iPhone's a great example because it's not really more expensive than most other phones. At least if you're on contract, everything's $200, whether it's
Yeah.
HTC, Samsung, iPhone. So I think it was an interesting thing that everyone can buy an iPhone. It's the exact same, kind of like how like the old story of like you can buy a Coke and it's the same anywhere and it's the same price, everyone can afford it. So like I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. But you look at something like the Apple Watch Edition. I mean, this is $10,000. That's crazy. But I also don't think it's that crazy. There are people
Yeah.
who buy Rolexes, and I don't
Oh
think
yeah.
anyone's gonna walk up to you and say, you kind of overpaid for that Rolex. You may want to reconsider. There's this great Casio that's $15 at Walmart. I mean, I'm saying it just
It
does the
does
same
the same
thing.
things, man. Yeah,
So,
Casio used open source software on theirs. Come on.
so,
Jeez.
like, I get it. Like you said, I'm not going to buy an Apple Watch
No.
Edition. That would be insane.
Yeah.
But I can't hate on someone who does. I mean, there's people who pay, tons of money for like a gold Lamborghini. I wouldn't buy one of those either, but I'm not going to
No.
hate on you for buying one.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It is cool though that they're letting you skip the lines. I feel like my $10,000 is going to be well spent because I don't have to stand in line with all the peasants who are buying their $1,000 watches. I don't want to be associated with those guys. I got to go
Oh
straight
my
to the front of the
god.
line.
Wow. You sound like Linus right now. Yeah, and like I guess it's the same kind of thing. Like I would look at a golden Lamborghini and go like, "Wow, that seems like a very poor investment idea." And I would look at a $10,000 Apple Watch and be like, "Wow, that seems like a very poor whatever." But I'd also look at it and go like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." I'm not super personally interested in a golden Lamborghini. I'm also not super personally interested in a $10,000 freaking Apple Watch. I wouldn't buy either, and my mind has them so far away from possibilities that I don't even want it.
What would you do with it? I'm just trying
Yeah,
to imagine like wearing a
exactly.
$10,000 watch. Like I wouldn't like someone sees it, they would just take it off my wrist. It'd be stolen in like a
Yeah.
week.
Oh yeah.
You'd scratch it and go, oh, that was $3,000 worth of gold I just left on that countertop. It would be
Yeah.
horrifying. I wouldn't even want one. If
You-
I had one, it would just be like in a case. I don't know. It's ridiculous to me. But then again, I'm
Yeah.
not the kind of guy who would ever buy a $10,000 watch anyway.
No, but if you were, do you feel like you should be able to cut the line and have an extra 1 hour private consultation with an Apple Watch expert? One of my favorite things is how they phrase it. The employees are being told that the journey for buying an edition is intended to be extremely personal, elegant, and purposeful. Like, oh god.
By the
Oh.
way, this elegant, purposeful journey ends with you giving us a check for $10,000. Don't forget that part, right? It's super
Yeah.
awesome, but we want your money.
Yeah.
I think the bigger question about this whole deal, I know we don't want to talk about the gold Apple Watch for like 30 minutes, but
Yeah.
what are you going to do with this thing next year when there's going to be a new Apple Watch that's better? Like, sure, I can see upgrading a phone like every 2 years, right? Like, it's okay, it's a few $100s, but it's nothing crazy. Am I going to have a $10,000 outdated watch a year from now?
Yeah, that's a big thing too, because the Rolex example and the Lambo example, like if you have a Gallardo's still super badass in however many
It's
years.
completely useless. It's completely useless 12 months later, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't even work anymore.
Like if someone rolls up in a Testarossa or a freaking DeLorean, okay, we got to talk about that in a second. If someone rolls up in a Testarossa, like that's sick. If someone has an old like however old Rolex, the older probably even the better, to be completely honest. It's
Yeah.
super badass.
Mm.
This thing is going to be junk the second the
Yeah.
new one comes out.
Yeah, because I
Like,
mean,
ugh.
like you said, like you look at a Rolex, it's like such fine like machinery and
Yeah.
craftsmanship. Like
Yeah.
it's insane, and you know it does the exact same thing that every other Rolex has ever done. It tells time, and I mean obviously the Apple Watch does do more than tell time. You got to give it some credit there, but
Yes.
I don't think it's going to have that same kind of mystique 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 years from now as a really finely machined
Yeah.
Rolex will. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And like the new brand new Rolex might be a better dive watch, but it's going to be just
Right.
as good as telling time as the new one most likely. So the Apple Watch will be worse,
Mm.
very objectively worse than the new one at doing a whole bunch of stuff whenever the new one
Right.
comes out. And
Unless
that'll
they
be
have
really
some
cool.
kind of like trade-in program where like they'll upgrade your watch or something, which I
Right.
get. I mean, for $10,000, not completely insane, but
Yeah.
still not like the greatest solution to having to send in your $10,000 watch like UPS every week.
UPS guy's like, this box got lost.
So how
My
much,
bad.
sir? So this comes with $100 of insurance. Do you want any more? Yeah, can I get $9,900 of insurance added? Okay.
Sure, yeah. Just in case anyone in the chat was wondering, there's the link. I should have posted that earlier. That was my bad. Yeah, I guess moving on, Microsoft has unleashed Project Spartan preview with the next Windows 10 build. Another thing I always warn people when I bring up Windows 10 builds is that there is a keylogger on Windows 10. I don't know if it's still there. It definitely was there before.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
What?
It's in the like terms of service or whatever when you sign up, and it's not there to harvest your password. It's there to, and like they're very open about the idea that it's there, and they're not trying to hide it. I don't know if it's still there. So if some if
Okay,
it's
I
not,
installed a
someone
Windows 10
correct me.
build and I didn't know anything about it, so I don't know how open they're being. I
They're
guess maybe
not
like
like there is a keylogger on your system, but it's in the TOS or whatever. You have to read the fine print, which is stupid.
I don't
They
think that
should
counts
be
as
more
open. I think that's like if you're like what part of the 0.01%
Yeah.
who read that, then I don't know. That's a little
Yeah.
sketchy. So what is it for? It's not for like just
It's supposed to be there to see how people are using it, and if something breaks and you like send the report, they would have the keylogger data of before the report, so they could
Okay.
kind of see like, oh, okay, well they did this stuff and it broke. Okay, that makes sense. That's what it's supposed to be there for. It sketches me out, so I don't like it.
yeah.
I
But Project Spartan.
yeah, woo. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Apparently, it's going to be replacing, not completely replacing Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer will still exist, but it will be replacing Internet Explorer's pinned and taskbar positions. So pinned in the start menu and pinned on the taskbar positions, which will pretty much completely replace it for a lot of the people that were using IE.
Right. And
Because the
that's a
reason
good
why
thing.
a lot of people are using it, yes, and then that is very true. Because a lot of the reasons why people were using IE was because it was default and in those positions.
Right, yeah.
So-
And it's also supposed to be faster, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be faster. There's a whole bunch of other really cool features like annotation notes. So you can essentially take like a snapshot of a web page, but it's still functional. It's not a screenshot. You can still click on links and everything, and you can
wow.
like draw on it, and you can collaboratively mark it up. So like if I was working on I actually really like this. If I was working on development of a website, I could send someone like I'm sure they have a word for it that I'm not properly calling it, but I could send someone this snapshot thing that I'm talking about, mark it up with like, okay, I want this padding to be a little bit wider, I want this color to change, I want all these things done. I'm gonna work on this part. If you can do those, we'll like mark it up and then send it to them, and you can still mess with it. You can still click on things. I think that's really cool.
Kind of like a Google Docs screenshot, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It's locked in time, so if there was updates done to that page, like if someone did an edit or something, you wouldn't get that edit.
Right.
But it's still clickable, and you'd be able to like watch the embedded YouTube video that might be there or whatever, which is actually pretty cool. I do like that.
So I played around with the very original like Project Spartan renderer in the first build of Windows 10. I did a little bit of a browser test, and I remember finding that it was not really a huge difference. I don't think it had changed any part of Internet Explorer besides the JavaScript side, and it was pretty much caught up with like Safari and Opera and Firefox and Chrome. So I'd be interested to see if it's kind of caught up on the rest of the browser side stuff with this newer build, because from the early side of what I saw, it looked pretty decent. It looked like it was kind of a browser that I actually wouldn't mind using.
Yeah, and the Cortana integration is genuinely
Yeah.
interesting. Sorry, I'm doing something on the computer for a second, but like I like that it's supposed to be the personal assistant idea. That's actually really
Right.
cool because, and this gets I think overshadowed a little bit. But if you look on a restaurant's website, I was doing this literally today. It can give you essentially quick links to stuff like their menus. Or if there's like Yelp reviews, those will be there. Like everything kind of comes in on the side. And if I'm like, oh, Beatnik's Bistro, this place that I've gone to a few times, do they have a breakfast menu? This is exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Where is it? Okay, our food is apparently their menus tab. Like it would have been not that much easier, but easier if it just popped in the side, bunch of reviews of their food, where their menus are, all that kind of stuff, super easy to find. I like that. Time savers are great. Personal assistants are a really cool idea.
So the question is, do they actually have a breakfast menu?
They do, but
Yes!
when you click on the breakfast menu, it's just like brunch menu.
Oh,
Like,
that's not a breakfast menu. That's a brunch menu.
Exactly.
Two different things.
Yeah, it's
right.
titled breakfast menu. You click on it, it gives you an image, and like on the image of the physical menu that you get, it's like brunch menu.
Okay,
That's
were there
not
like
fair.
breakfasty kind of foods on the brunch menu at least?
There
like
were a
pancakes and stuff?
couple breakfasty kind of foods. It
Okay.
opens at I think 10 or 10:30.
Yeah, that's
So-
definitely kind of a brunchy sort of
Yeah,
thing. All right,
yeah,
I'll allow it. Sounds good.
I'll allow it. They can continue to exist.
Yes, so far, but they need to be careful with this brunch nonsense.
Anyways, the Project Spartan preview will be available in build 10049. So 10,000.
Oh, that's my favorite build.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's
10049. We hang out. Anyways, I need to jump back a little bit and ask you the DeLorean. What's
Oh,
up with the DeLorean?
okay.
I
So,
need to know.
so I posted on Instagram last night. I think the title was like "New Whip," and it was a picture
Yes.
of a DeLorean. No, I didn't actually buy a DeLorean.
Ah.
So many people were like, "Oh, dude, do a video on it, or this, that." I was just at a museum and there was a DeLorean there. I just took a picture. I didn't think anyone would believe that I actually bought a DeLorean. Although I will say that's on my bucket list of things that at some point in my life I would like to own a DeLorean.
Yeah.
But that one was like 80 grand, and I was not going to pay $80,000 for a
No.
DeLorean. So maybe when I find like when the Apple Watch, like when people start trading in their Apple Watches, they might like trade in a DeLorean, and like I can get it for like a little bit of a better price.
Yeah.
But no DeLorean just yet. So
That's fantastic. The reason why I was so excited and the reason why I asked was my car that I bought when I was like 16 or whatever, I rode that thing directly into the ground and its engine like partially blew up on a bridge. And then
Good job. Good job.
Thank you. It was fantastic. When I replaced that, I hadn't been looking into buying cars for a super long time. So I was like, you know what? I should try to get a DeLorean. And no joke, that actually happened. And I did a whole bunch of research, and I like actually sourced down some people that had DeLoreans, and I found some that were a lot more affordable than 80 grand.
Okay.
But they wouldn't be as in good shape at all.
Right,
Not even
right.
remotely. So a lot of it was going to take a lot of work, especially aesthetic work, like repairing some of the panels, which is not
Which is
fun.
all what is it stainless, right?
Yeah. So
Oh yeah. Well, isn't the company that bought like didn't one company buy like all of
I
the
think
parts?
so. Yeah.
It's like this giant warehouse full of like brand new DeLorean parts. I think it's like Washington, maybe. I
Yeah.
actually have, yeah, but I've seen like the videos of. I think it's actually still called. I think they bought like the name like DeLorean Motor Company and everything.
Yeah, DMC, yeah.
Like I know they were building like some plug-in hybrid versions of like new DeLoreans with all the
Whoa.
old like, 80s parts. Yeah, it's really cool. I don't know if they've actually done it, but I know they were talking about like prototypes and stuff. So
Wow.
I don't
That's
know.
pretty sick. That would be interesting to pay attention to. But yeah,
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny that you posted that. I wasn't sure if you bought it or not, but I was like, oh,
I was
man.
surprised at how like I felt like most people realized it was a joke, but a ton of people thought I was real. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, cool. I appreciate the vote of confidence and everything. I'm that kind of baller who owns a DeLorean. Thank you guys in advance, but sadly, I don't quite live up to your expectations just yet.
That's awesome. What
One
gave
day,
me
though.
the little bit of thought that it might not have been real was that it was just like that very small section of the car. And I
Yeah.
just felt like if it was actually yours, you'd take like a picture from the inside or something.
Oh, you put like a lot of thought in this.
I did. I got really excited, man.
You could have asked me, right?
Well, I wanted to ask you on the show. I was like, because I saw the Instagram post last night, and I was like, gonna send you a message, and then I was like, I'll just ask him live.
I just took because it was parked by like two other cars, so I got the closest shot I could see the other cars. Like, oh, this is my garage, guys.
Oh, you should have got it with the 2 other cars and then said it was your garage.
Oh yeah, there's like a Camaro and a Lamborghini. All my cars. Don't worry.
Whatever. That's cool.
Actually, that was Linus's Lamborghini, but
yes, yeah, he was just visiting.
Right.
Anyways, next up, we have the HTC One E9 Plus, their latest phablet with a stunning screen, apparently. Stunning. It has a, where's its DP?
534 PPI.
There we go. Yes.
5.5 inch quad HD display. Although the website lists it as a 1080p resolution, so I think they probably just screwed up because that's what the M9 is, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty sure that was just a mess up.
Yeah, but I mean, a 5.5 inch 2560 by 1440 screen, that's it's okay. I mean, it's got a couple pixels, like 534 per inch. If I was gonna put like a random number, like just take a guess, 534-ish. So it's half metal and half plastic. So this is going to be, I guess, is this going to be a step down from the M9, or is this supposed to be like another flagship?
I don't know. It's interesting. They've screwed up a lot of their own specs, which is frustrating because, like you said, the screen, but then there's also RAM. It's supposed to be 3 gigabytes on their website. It listed as 2.
It's also got a MediaTek chipset, which kind of tips me off. That's probably not all that high end. Yeah,
and then HTC's been doing a lot of full metal, and this is half and half.
Right, exactly. Yeah, actually, the E, if I remember right, the E series actually has been like the step down from the M series.
Right,
I think.
Okay.
I think so.
That would make sense.
I hope I'm right.
I don't know that off the top of my head, but that would make a lot of sense considering the plastic and considering the MediaTek chip.
Yeah, so it's cool. There's no price or release date or anything yet.
Nope.
Actually, I just realized it's 7.49 millimeters thick. I feel like that's actually quite a bit thinner than the M9. I think that's like somewhere in like the 8.5 neighborhood. I should probably double check what I'm saying before I say it. But
sorry, give me one quick second. For some reason, Nick is calling me. I have no idea why. What's up, Nick?
Uh-oh.
You're on speaker.
That's a terrible thing.
Because apparently your mic is way lower than Austin's.
Oh. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, just wanted to let you know.
Okay. Thanks, Nick.
Thank
Bye.
you. You sound fine on my end. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I checked the chat a few times and didn't see that. You want to turn yours down a little bit? Okay, yeah, some people are talking about it. I don't know why it took them almost 20 minutes. They were probably doing it the whole time. I just wanted to bug people. But
so do you want mine down or do you want to turn yours up?
I can turn mine up a little bit. You can try
Okay, I can turn mine down, but I don't want to like mess it up because I'm on Skype right now, so Skype's automatically changing. So I don't know how much.
Yeah, good.
I can turn it down a little bit.
I turned mine up a bit. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully that works. I'll check in the chat in a little bit. Moving on from unreleased, a whole bunch of data messed up phones. We have the Amazon testing delivery drones in a secret location in Canada, which is
secret.
BC. Which is great because that's where I'm from, and this is awesome, and I have no problem with it.
See, you guys are like cheating here, right? Amazon was doing all this kind of cool stuff, and then you guys get all their awesome drone technology. Like, come on, like they got to share with us. Like, I guess the FAA is being.
Yes, the FAA are being butts about it, which they might have some good ideas, but I'm happy that they're testing it here. I think that's cool. I like how Amazon was just like, oh, we'll just, walk upwards a little bit.
Yeah, like, I wonder, is there some other place on Earth we could do this exact same testing? Actually, isn't Amazon based in, like, Seattle? Like, isn't that just, like,
that's what I mean.
A few miles?
Just go up, like, a little bit. That's why I said BC. There's a lot of reasons why BC is probably where this whole secret center is.
Mm-hmm.
But BC makes a ton of sense for a few reasons. But, yeah, they didn't even... They probably just drove a truck up with some of their equipment. They're like, all right, cool. We're here.
Testing time.
Yeah, that didn't take that long. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, well... Even if Canada decides to freak out, which they probably won't, because Canada has essentially been like, you can do whatever you want, because we need more of you up here.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm down with that too. But even if Canada said basically no, Amazon could probably just like buy an island and just test them there.
They probably already have one at this point.
Yeah, like you're not going to stop them from trying these things out. Just, I don't know, go with it.
So I think it's interesting because didn't they do the original like that ad? Was that a year ago or was it 2? Something like that. It was a while back.
Yeah.
So I remember when I first saw that, it seemed so ridiculous. It seemed like there was no way that they were actually going to do this. But come on, but it seems like you hear stuff like this, and they've said on record, yeah, this is actually a thing we want to do. It might be 3, 5, 7. It could be a long time in the future.
Yeah.
But this is something that we're interested in looking at. And so I kind of got to thinking about it. And the amount of packages that Amazon actually ships via UPS, FedEx, post office, that kind of stuff, that's got to be enormous, right? Like it's got to be
Yes.
just a huge, huge amount. And I felt guilty on multiple occasions when I buy like a $5 like tube of thermal paste and I have it overnighted via Prime to my house, like $2. It's like this totally cost them so much more money than it was actually worth. I almost feel like kind of guilty about when I do that. So you think maybe this drone stuff, while it still is going to be massively impractical and only for like a few places, you know, even in the best case scenario, but maybe this is kind of like a way of hedging their bets and not giving, you know, UPS and FedEx piles of money to ship everything all over the place.
That's honestly probably a really good point, especially with looking at what is it called? Give me a second here. I'm going to try and find it in the doc. But anyways, they're releasing these little buttons. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, Dash.
Dash, yes, the Dash Go buttons or whatever. I know it's a transitionary thing until they get something else set up or whatever, and there isn't a ton of products that it's available for so far. And some people thought it was an April Fool's joke, which it apparently isn't.
I absolutely
I did too.
Yeah, because it was on the 31st.
Yes.
And I saw a bunch of people tweeting it, and like that was because people got, I guess the last couple of years people have been starting April Fools early. So I saw it on my Twitter, it's like whatever. I go to Amazon.com, it's like this giant thing right up front. I was like, really? And I signed up because it's free for if you're a Prime member. I think you can get up to 3 buttons. I probably should double check that. Yeah, you can get up to 3 buttons.
Do you have to pay after that?
I have no idea what you do after the first 3 buttons. I don't know if they'll even give you more than 3. I have no idea.
Right.
But I think you can get up to 3. They're for various different products. So you can get like, you know, you hit the button and, you know, it'll automatically order you more laundry detergent or diapers or whatever. I think it's about 18 different products. Yeah, Tide, Huggies, all kinds of stuff. So, you know, when I need more diapers, I just hit the button.
Yeah.
So I know they used the picture of like, you put the Tide button on your washing machine. Yeah. Where do you put these other buttons? Where do you put the diaper button? Where do you put the toilet paper button? I'm just trying to think of, am I going to have a house full of buttons everywhere I just want to walk in and go, oh, I want some of this, I want some of this, I want some of this. $300. Oops.
Yeah. Oh my. I don't know. I think with especially a lot of the stuff that's in this program, the drones would make sense. The button placement thing is pretty funny. I think this isn't going to make a ton of sense for people that have like little kids and stuff.
Yeah, I think there is.
Button, fun to press. $3,000, all automatically shipped with drones. You can't
There's
cancel.
like a pallet of diapers show up at your front door. You're like, not again.
Yeah. Oh man, ridiculous. And they're like, oh yeah, if you don't want it anymore, you can just cancel it on your phone. I'm like, yeah, well if it's already at my house.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. Like, yeah, it emails you or whatever. Okay, I'm at work. You shipped within an hour because you're amazing in Amazon. And now I can't cancel my order. Like, ugh.
So what I've got the question is, what's the deal with these buttons, right? They seem very small. I believe they connect to your phone, right?
I was wondering about that, and like I was wondering about battery life and stuff too.
Yeah, exactly. And then these are pretty much one-use buttons, right? Like you use it, I don't know, a year or two, use it for a few times, and like what the battery gives up and you throw it away. That seems kind of a little sketchy to me.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit ridiculous.
It's a cool idea. But I don't know how practical it's going to be if it's going
especially in the long run. And like I know they've already basically publicly said that it's a transitionary piece.
Right.
So they're planning on having other ways of doing this. Like I think the idea is that there's supposed to be a dedicated dash, like the scanning code that people, QR code. I think there's supposed to be a dedicated dash QR code in all the products, or some other version of a code, some scanning bar or whatever that your phone can read. I think that's the eventual plan, but until they get a whole bunch of people on that, maybe not going to happen, which is,
right.
I don't know, a little bit weird. But maybe the year and a half, 2 years might, oh man, I'm going to say Tide, and that's one of the companies that signed up for this, but might tide people over until they actually get this other system implemented.
Yeah, and I think on top of that, you look just a little bit more into the future. I believe, so I'm gonna say this and it might be wrong. I believe, was it Samsung was the company who said that they want all of their products to be connected within the next like 5 or 10 years. So you can imagine you go up to your refrigerator and you could have Dash built in, so you can just look through. Maybe it can even automatically see what you've got, and like you scan it or whatever, and you put it in. It can keep track of if your stuff's about to go out of date, if you need to get some more milk or whatever, and it can automatically be set in. So I definitely feel like Dash for a lot of reasons is sort of like a stopgap, like a little bit of a transition between just having to order stuff on Amazon and not remembering and just realizing it's way easier just to go down to the store as opposed to waiting. Or if it's just something simple like your refrigerator automatically orders when you need more eggs or something. I think that's kind of where this is all headed.
Yeah, and speaking of where this is all headed, because that was basically the best segue I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know.
Another topic that we have. Not even just that, but what you were just talking about. IBM new Internet of Things unit. IBM is investing $3 billion over the next 4 years to solidify its efforts in the Internet of Things space. So people like Samsung, like you were just talking about, all their products need to be connected, are very possibly going to work with people like IBM. IBM's this like massive patent house that just does the back end of like everything ever. And
well, that's interesting to think of IBM as a massive patent house. I usually I wouldn't think of them like that, but you know what? You're totally right. That's actually an interesting way of looking at it. Wow. I guess that's what they are. Well, they've got $3 billion to throw around over the next 4 years.
They're a huge company. They just don't have a ton of almost any anymore. Did they get rid of all their consumer focused stuff?
Oh, dude, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. That's for sure.
I know they got rid of their like laptops and desktop kind of computer stuff not even that long ago.
Yeah, they sold that to Lenovo, right?
Yeah, they moved off hard drives. I don't think. Sorry.
Servers and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, but that's less consumer focused.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think the interesting thing about this is that you look at IBM, you look at all these different companies who are pouring tons and tons of money. I don't know. I feel like the Internet of Things and wearables, I think a lot of these things, although they're separate categories, but I feel like a lot of these things are kind of converging. I remember I was at like a CES, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was at the Intel CES conference, and they were talking about, we can't wait until, the cost of compute's basically nothing, right? You can have, a chip that's able to, connect to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or whatever in everything. You can have it, it's essentially free, it's tiny, tiny, tiny little chips that you could put everywhere. I feel like at first I was like, yeah, right, okay, I'm gonna have a Wi-Fi connected table and all this kind of stuff. But you hear more and more like stories about this. It's just like, wow, this is actually kind of happening. That's cool, I think.
Yeah. I've been one thing that I always really liked was the original wasn't it called the Surface way back in the day, the Microsoft table.
Yeah, the big table. Yeah.
And when they ordered pizza with that thing, that was so sick. The guy was just like, I want some pizza. And I think he swiped something and threw his credit card on it. It just scanned his credit card and pizza showed up. I was like, that's so cool. I want my table to be connected. Why not?
Wasn't Pizza Hut one of like the very first websites that you actually like online order pizza?
Yeah.
Pizza's like the thing that drives all technology progress. If you use a computer today, you owe it to pizza. Give or take a little bit. But mostly, guess what? The guy who designed that computer you're using right now, he probably ate a lot of pizza.
He probably did.
You're welcome, pizza. Or, thank you, pizza.
When I was doing a lot more developing stuff, I was eating a lot of pizza.
No. Seriously?
Yeah.
Dude, you know what? When I make my videos, a lot of time, I eat pizza.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I can't believe it. We found like what is actually driven
the unifying force of the universe.
Yeah. So pizza. Thanks, pizza. We appreciate you.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They knew it all along. Oh, I found the Dash article, so I'm going to post this in stream, like, totally nowhere close to when we were talking about it. But just in case anyone wanted to read up more on that, there you go. I don't know. I've had a lot of people telling me that's super stupid. I don't really think it is. I think it's fine. It might need to be deployed in specific ways. Like, if you have a little kid, like, make sure they can't press it. If like I could see myself using them more likely. I don't have Prime, but maybe it's an interesting idea. One thing that I'm worried about is that there's not a ton of products on it so far.
Right, and the buttons are not programmable from what I've seen. So. They all have like their own, the graphic of whatever brand that you're ordering. So it's like Gillette or whatever. So that button's only going to be useful for one thing, which is a little weird, but
little weird. And a lot of the brands that they're signing up for are like premium brands. A lot of times I buy super cheapo stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
Might not be super useful for me, but especially like the single home thing where it's like one person living there. You buy something, you're probably gonna have it for a long time, and then once it runs out, you're gonna be like, oh crap, I haven't thought about this because I haven't had to buy it in 2 months. So okay,
Yeah.
being able to press the button is kind of cool, and then you don't have little kids pressing it and all that kind of stuff. But I do worry about also social implications of it. My buddy comes over and sees a Tide button. It's like, what's that? Click, 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 click. It doesn't do anything. Click, 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 click. Oh.
I think you need a better buddy if that's the case.
Yeah, I know, but like it's I don't know, it's possible. Or like
yeah.
if one of my friends happened to have kids and came over and their kids were there or whatever and they'd press it. Like, I don't know. There's weird stuff like that. It would notify you, of course, but I don't know. I'm really interested to see what people think about this in 6 months after it's released.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're actually using it, what people have to say about it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
So there's the 20th anniversary GTX 980.
Yes, that is. Oh.
Well, it's the ASUS 20th anniversary.
Yes.
So what's it clocked at, actually? It's like some insane like clock right out of the box, right?
Hopefully it's not in the notes for some reason. Nick,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I remember reading this
Nick.
earlier today.
I'm gonna try and pick it up. It's supposed to be. Isn't it the fastest out of the box 980 you can get? I think
I
that's
believe
the
so.
whole point.
Yeah, I believe so. Actually, that's weird. They don't actually have it on the ASUS page.
That's silly.
Really
Maybe
obvious.
they're not telling people yet.
Safe mode. It's really cool, guys. It's fast. Just
Yeah,
trust it. It's
it has
really fast.
defroster modes, which is actually kind of cool. Which is helpful for people if they're doing LN2, which will be probably not many or nobody in the audience, but it's possible. There's an RGB light. It looks freaking badass, and it's supposed to be super fast out of the box, which is cool. Hopefully, I'll be able to check it out and let people know what's going on. 14-phase power design, which is actually pretty sick. We don't see that often. I think like some of the Kingpin edition cards and stuff will have 14-phase power design. 0 dB fan mode, although Linus has posted a video on how to do that on pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah, just don't deal with this stuff. Just watch the video. It's all you actually need to know. Like these companies can pretend to do it, but Linus made the video. That's all you really need.
Yeah. Essentially, they didn't even release a graphics card until Linus makes a video.
Exactly. It's all because of Linus. We all understand it. Linus and pizza make the world go round.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So.
Mainly pizza, but Linus too. Yeah. Linus has to review the pizza.
Oh, that needs to happen.
Yeah, that does need to happen.
That needs to happen.
Lose McDonald's.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good.
That was awesome.
Awesome. So,
anyways, there's not a ton else to say other than about that card until we get it in hand. Other than that, 14-phase power design, 0 dB fan technology, memory defroster, a bunch of stuff for those kind of guys. One press V BIOS reload, which is actually pretty sick, especially if you're going to be screwing around a lot, which is very probable if you're buying this card.
Yeah.
I don't know, pretty sick. I'd like to test it, so hopefully we'll get one, and I'll let you guys know later. Samsung is launching 3 more curved PC monitors, so Linus is probably freaking out about that over in wherever the hell he is right now. He's been going to many, many places. I'm going to post this in the chat as well. I'm doing a better job of that right now. I'm a little bit disappointed that I think they're all 1080p.
Yes. So it's a 24-inch, a 27-inch, and a 31-inch.
Yeah.
So they started $300. So I think that's by far the cheapest curved monitor, right? I can't think of anything else.
I'm not entirely sure about that. You're probably right. As far as I know off the top of my head, I think you're right, but I haven't checked that, so I don't know.
I'm good at saying things, and then like half a second after I say it, it's like, oh, I'm actually not sure about that.
Yeah. That's the cheapest. I think maybe.
Probably.
My favorite thing to say is that's just a theory, though.
That's just a theory. I need to use that. I need to use that.
Anyways, I'm a little bit disappointed that they're 1080p just because the curved monitors that I've tried in office that were 1080p felt worse than a flat 1080p monitor. I think just because I noticed the resolution more. But the like ultra wides that we have that are 1440p and above are super crisp and very nice. So I don't know. I'm sure Linus is going to try and get his hands on some of these, so we'll probably see a review of that. And he's done way more work with the new monitors than I have, so I'm sure he'll have something to say about them being 1080p or not. They've been bragging about the eye saver mode and the just natural eye fatigue saving stuff of curved monitors. I've never had a problem with that.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of monitors all the time, so I don't know.
My eyes need to be saved, apparently.
Yeah. I don't know. That's one thing I've been thinking about too. Is like I'm going to always turn my whole head, so I don't know. I'll be I'll be looking directly at that monitor, or I'll be looking directly at this monitor.
Oh, right.
My eyes
So
are usually facing straight forward. I'm not like looking out of the corner of my eyes at things all the time.
Right. Huh. Okay.
Which I think might be what they're talking about. It might not be. I don't know. But the eye saver mode specifically decreases the amount of blue light emitted by the displays. Not the. I know they're talking about the natural curve can save your eyes that way, but the eye saver mode is reducing the natural blue light sent out by the displays, which is interesting. Speaking of different colors of light, I don't know why I'm bringing this up right now, but in fire engines they illuminate the cab with red, not just because it's a fire engine, but because red doesn't change your pupil.
Seriously?
Yeah, so you can look directly into red light and nothing will really happen.
All right, that sounds like really dangerous advice.
It's not good. It's not like don't take a laser pointer and be like, look, nothing's gonna happen. That's stupid. Don't do that. But
that's interesting though. So red light is easier on your eyes then.
Yes, and when I bought my car, I was super disappointed because I had heard that blue light wasn't good, and mine is illuminated by blue light. And I was like, what are you doing? Why did this happen? That is
just
ridiculous.
Put like red tape over all the blue lights in your car, like there, done.
But that's why if you've heard of them, there's a program for Android phones. I don't know if it's on iPhone or not. Android phones called Twilight, and there's a program on desktop for Windows and probably Mac as well called f.lux or just Flux.
Yeah, I always say Flux.
Yeah, Flux. Yeah, both those. Oh, so you're aware? Both those programs will increase red light.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I guess that is what they do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh. I've heard of them. I've never really tried
dim
it.
and increase red light, so it's easier to look at.
Yeah, I just stare at really bright blue screens 24/7. So
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, me too. I tried Flux, and then after a while, I was like, I'm just gonna stay up till 6 a.m. anyways.
Yeah, it's not a big difference.
Yeah, whatever. I know my timing's gonna be way off. It's fine.
This would be helpful if I actually cared about my eye health, but I don't think we have the luxury of that because we're on computers all the time.
Yeah. And then we're filming with giant light boxes like you have in the background going right at your face, which is gotta just not be good.
The horrible perils of our jobs of sitting in our offices and sitting on computers all day is really
so
terrifying.
Dangerous. Yeah. Oh my. Oh me. Oh
yeah, you should feel bad for us.
We're
so unhealthy. Yeah. All the time.
Speaking of feeling bad, parents who don't stop children playing Call of Duty and other games of that style. The title's a little bit sensationalist. It just says playing Call of Duty, but yeah, like aggressive gameplay stuff, high-rated gameplays, will be reported to the police. Warns schools in the UK. Crazy.
Nothing about this. I like absolutely nothing about this entire story. Right. So it's not all schools in the UK or anything. I believe it's 16 schools, and they've stated that they would call the police and social services if children reveal in the playground that they have been playing adult-themed games. Several children have reported blah, 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 blah. The games they're talking about with levels of violence and sexual content, such as Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Dogs of War, and other similar games that are all inappropriate for children.
Yeah. Crazy. And this is like including everyone under 18 plus as far as
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I can understand maybe like a 6 or 7 year old probably should be playing Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto.
Like if they're looking at elementary schools, and if like what they do is they like maybe call and talk to the parents talk to the parents about the possible implications of letting their kids play this and be like, maybe you shouldn't, blah 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 blah. Like maybe that's fine. But once you're in high school, like, I don't know a single dude that didn't play games that were 18 plus.
Yeah, of course. That's insane. And not only that, it's not like they're just calling. They're reporting to the police
as like an incident and social services so they can like... That's crazy. Oh.
This seems to me like a school district who's just trying to like really like make some news and say, oh, we're gonna crack down on those video games that are killing our kids for. It just seems kind of sensationalist, and they're just trying to get the word out. But this is messed up on a lot of levels. I mean,
parents were also warned about their youngsters being allowed to have access to social media sites such as Facebook and WhatsApp because it could make them vulnerable to sexual grooming.
First of all, I did not need to know that was a term. Second of all, okay, again, I can see some like nugget of like real information here. Like, yeah, you probably should have a little kid, having Facebook or WhatsApp. Okay,
And like,
I can kind of understand
and with
that.
the argument of I don't want the crap that I did when I was 14 to be on the internet.
Exactly.
Because, yeah,
Right.
I just don't. It's just no.
Wait, do we need to pause and do we need to discuss something right now?
We super don't need to discuss anything right now at all. That's totally fine. But like, I just maybe have an advisory thing. Yes, I think it's very ham-fisted of this school board to just come out here and do this. But an ulterior motive for them might be to bring this issue up and have someone go like, whoa, let's draw back and set up a system here, which is much less aggressive. And maybe that's actually what they want. I hope that's actually what they want. Because if someone's in elementary school and has a Facebook account and is posting everything they're doing all day on the Facebook account, maybe that's a little weird.
That's
maybe
a little scary, yeah.
Their parents should maybe look into that. I don't know. That's their decision. And if the kid is playing Call of Duty, they're probably getting ripped on by a whole bunch of old people. And might even be beating them, because little kids seem to be pretty good at first-person shooters.
That actually is something I've noticed. A lot of kids who are like somewhat younger can be incredibly good at things like Call of Duty. It's a little weird to me. Maybe they're like, maybe
it's Twitch skills, man.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I just think the thing with this is that it seems ridiculous. Like, I get it, right? A lot of parents pay zero attention to the ratings of games, and they'll let a little kid play like Grand Theft Auto, right? Okay. Probably not a good idea, but I mean, like little kids get to watch movies and all kinds of TV shows that are adult themed, and I mean that's just like kind of normal, right? Like that's not something that's completely insane and crazy, and you need to call the police and social services about.
Yeah.
Like it's something that parents probably should pay a little bit more attention to, but to call the police because some 15-year-old kid in school is like, oh, I was playing Call of Duty. Call the police.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane to me. Like I can't even begin to imagine how they would actually enforce that. And what are the police going to do, right? You get some school calling up like, so one of our 15-year-old students was playing All of Duty. Okay.
Like, all right, we have some important stuff to do. Have a good day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I just this everything about this just makes me sad and not.
I'm not going to tell anyone how to raise their kids because I don't want to do that. But I feel like if the kid wants to do it at some level, they probably will. Yeah. So like if you're like, oh, you can't play shooter games, he's going to go to Johnny's house and play shooter games over there.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell him he can't watch that movie, he's going to go on his laptop in his room or his phone or his tablet or whatever the heck, Internet of Things, and just watch it there. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I think having the discussion about like, it's not real. You probably knew this, but it's not real. Those are just pixels. It's not the same at all. You can be a super nice, kind-hearted person and play GTA all you want, and everything can still be fine. And like talking about the differences of like, okay, don't kick and punch your friends in the face. It's cool. Just do that in video games.
Don't do that, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Just having those like very obvious conversations is probably not a bad idea. Ham-fisting things will very likely just make things worse.
I just tell you, this just seems to me like every year or two, some things gotta there's gotta be some controversy or something. Oh god, video games, they're terrible for people, and then everyone calms down, everyone forgets about it, and it's no big deal. I feel like this is just another one of those things where some school district is wanting to make some attention, make some news, and it's gonna blow over and whatever. So, but it just annoys me that video games are still ragged on like this when I mean there's so much advantage to playing video games as far as like just being able to like get friends and be able to like everyone like come and hang out and play Mario Kart or GTA
Mario
or
Kart's
Call of Duty, whatever.
It's held one of my friend groups together completely. That's completely the reason why it has, is because we'll all come together and play games or play games on the internet. And I find it's a really good way to keep in contact with friends that I had in high school and stuff, because even if they moved away or I moved away or whatever, you can still play online, which is a really good way to
So the third thing we've learned this show: pizza's great.
Yep.
We love Linus, and you should play more video games.
Yes.
Success. All right, next.
Fantastic. Moving on to a more uplifting story. I think this is freaking amazing. I'm a huge fan of this product. It is called Volvo Lifepaint.
Which is a great name.
Lifepaint? Yeah, it's fantastic. So it's invisible in like daylight. So if there's a lot of light on the object, it's not visible. But if there's not much light on the object, as far as I can tell, it glows white.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's a white glow. I'm gonna share my screen here for a second.
So
Boop-a-doop.
So what it does is it shines brightly in with like the glare. It's kind of like a reflective sort of thing where
Yeah,
like if you're
yeah.
driving around the corner and it's like headlights hit, it'll bounce back. Like I can't tell you how many times I can't tell you, but it's not been that many times. But it's happened to me before where I'm driving through a neighborhood, I'll come around a corner, it's in the middle of the night, and someone's walking around with like a black hoodie on,
Mm-hmm.
like in the middle of the street. Like don't do that. That's a bad idea, right?
Yeah.
But if I have some like stupid, reflective thing where I'm driving around, I see someone shiny with this life paint, then I might not hit them because that would be bad.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be reflective stuff that is kind of held together, which is very cool. And yeah, reflective was the best term for it. I think it's great, especially because of exactly what you just said. I've been a biker, or I was a biker for many years when I was going to university.
That sounds badass. Just throwing that out there.
But a biker? I didn't mean motorbike. I was like a pedal
never
bike
mind. I take it
person.
back. I take all those cool
Yeah.
points, and you just lost a few.
I did. I
Sorry,
was like
sorry,
that
dude.
kid in Pokemon who like got the bike voucher and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to school.
I can save my 1 million credits now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that money I would have never made. I wonder if someone saved up enough.
No,
to
dude,
bought
the
it.
cap was like 999,000,
Oh,
right?
so you couldn't get it?
Yeah, I don't think you could have.
Ah,
Yeah, I think that's the whole point.
Hey, that makes sense.
I kind of want to try it, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Epic references. But yeah, like this would have been really nice while I was doing that. And I think the other unintended fantastic part about this is you can spray things and then they won't show up in daylight and they'll show up later on. So you can like spray explicit things, which are funny, that people spray on stuff that look like elongated somethings, and you can leave them wherever the heck you want and people won't even know, and that's fantastic. Now
And
you could...
It
Sorry?
washes off after a week. So it even
Yeah.
disappears after a while. It's
Yeah.
it's literally perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It'll
So,
save
like-
lives, and you get to paint things on things, and you'll be able to see things in certain light.
Yeah.
Most
So
of the
like, Buddy passes out of the party, just turn the lights off, spray some stuff on him, no big deal. He can go to work, it's fine. It can be on his face, and he can still go to work, and everything would be fine. And then you turn the lights off, and then he gets home. It's been a long day at work. His wife is there. She's like, "How you doing, honey? Fine, whatever." Just turns the light off. Giant penis on his face. Just whatever. I don't know. Could be hilarious.
This might be the greatest invention of all humanity that
I think-
saves
yeah.
lives, makes perfect pranks possible. Volvo,
Yes.
we salute you. Or I
Yes.
salute you. I feel like we both do.
I think it's great.
I don't speak for you.
No, I salute them too. That's fantastic. Completely agree. And what I really like about it too is, isn't Volvo the one that came up with the 3-point seatbelt?
Yes.
And they opened
Yeah,
up that patent
Exactly. Yeah,
to like
they.
everybody.
It was like I don't want to. Again, I think this whole show's been me getting
Say
dates.
something and then be like,
It was a while ago, right? Like
Yeah,
60,
yeah.
70, something like that. Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
patented it, and they just gave the patent, or they gave like a free license to
Yes, free license
other
to everybody.
automotive
Just we want
manufacturers.
people to be safer. I think
Right.
this is like wave 2
Yeah.
of that whole idea. I don't know if they're gonna release the patent or do whatever, but I think it's very cool that they're putting a lot of effort to save people that aren't even directly in their market. This
Right.
is people riding bikes.
Yeah, it's not.
Not
I doubt that.
cars.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're riding a bike, you might not own a Volvo, right? But they're still the ones who are, I'm assuming, who designed this and are selling it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, big props to Volvo. This is something awesome all the way around.
Yeah, I thought that was absolutely cool. I loved that. That was probably my favorite thing in the dock so far.
Have they
I
actually
to-
said,
sorry?
is it available or like, can you buy this yet?
I didn't see anything in terms of being able to purchase it. I know you can get involved, whatever that actually means, by submitting your email address. Ooh, it does look like you can buy it, actually, now that I see it. It says, get life paint at the shops below, and they're all in London. So, I don't see anywhere to
I feel like a
actually order it
a
online.
Channel Superfun video is about to become a reality.
If I can get my hands on some of this will definitely...
Can you order it?
I
Or
don't
is it
think
like
so.
you have to actually pick it up in person?
Yeah, they said at the shops below, and there's like a gray and white map. I'm gonna see here. Pelton & Co., Cadence Performance Limited, Athlete Lab, The Velo House, Bespoke Cycling, Fully Charged Globe House.
Oh yeah, Volvo is into it. Actually, now that I think about it, Volvo is into a lot of stuff that's not cars, right? Like they do all kinds of other like bikes and whatnot, right?
Oh, do they?
Oh, I thought that's what you were reading on their site.
No, those are stores where you can buy it.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was
Yeah.
wrong again.
I don't know. They might be. I don't know much about that. I don't see it on their site. I'll see if I can order some. That would actually. I would love to do a video on this stuff.
So cool. That would be
awesome.
so cool.
And of course, I'd have to spray some stuff all over Linus. Like if I can get a hold of Linus's like NVIDIA jacket.
What? Shh.
And then
after the show. After the show.
Point. I'll hold it. I'll hold it. I won't go anymore. Moving on. Finding other topic. I have to do sponsor spots real quick. Give me a moment.
Go for it.
Boom. If Nick.
Do you have like some awesome sponsor music yet?
I don't have sponsor music. I wish I had sponsor music. You can be the sponsor music. We want to tell you about our new show sponsor, FreshBooks. They're a pretty cool online tool that can help you get your accounting done and just do things quickly. It's great for small businesses or some freelance work. I've done freelance work in the past, doing computer repairs, office setups, all that kind of stuff for techie style things. You can have your clients pay online. You can manage your expenses. And you can set up invoices and stuff like that and have everything automatically tracked, which is absolutely fantastic. You can use it to update your timesheet through your phone and do projects on basically any connected device that you have. Head over to freshbooks.com/WAN and don't forget to enter WAN in the How Did You Hear About Us section as well. Moving onwards, I have facial hair.
Congratulations.
Austin does not have facial hair. It's possible that you have facial hair. It's possible that you have hair elsewhere. You probably do. And Dollar Shave Club isn't only for men. I know it's marketed that way often, but as we've discussed on the show before, your lady friends could use it just as well as you could. So please take note of that. DollarShaveClub.com/Linus. I can talk at all sometimes. Shave time, shave money. They have their Dr. Carver's shave butter.
Which is awesome,
I'm having
by the way.
problem
I've tried it.
talking
It
right
is
now.
really, really cool.
I actually do like it too. I actually do use that every day. That isn't even part of the sponsor spot thing, but I do. I use Dr. Carver's Cave Butter and Dr. Carver's Shave Butter. Oh my God, what's wrong with me right now? And I use their razor as well. It's a great way to have razors show up to your door, and it costs a lot less than most razors that you can buy in the store as well, which is pretty cool. All right.
Yep.
Back to the normal show. You magically appear again. Why is Nick calling?
Uh-oh. Audio problems again?
What?
You need to change the lower third when you do a different sponsor.
Clicking on Dollar Shave Club versus FreshBooks. My bad. That sucked. Sorry, Nick.
Okay. That's okay. Bye.
Bye. Poor
See,
Nick.
we have to have Nick around, otherwise
We do.
literally nothing goes correct at all.
Nick is like... Nick is gonna hate this because he's watching right now, but Nick is like the office mom. Like, he'll make sure everyone's like doing okay. Like, if people are working and they're like, "Oh man, I have so much to do today," he'll be like, "Are you fed? Do you have lunch? Do you need food? I can get you food. Do you need food?" And then he'll like go out and get people food and everything. It's fantastic.
He emailed me, I think it was on Wednesday. He's like, "Hey, dude, I know this is like super late, but can you be on the WAN show?" And like, he sent this like really long, thoughtful email. It's like, "Dude, congratulations on your channel. You know, I think it would be awesome. You know, you guys can make an awesome show." I was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And I was like, that was my entire response. I kind of felt bad. It's like, man, he probably spent like a long time working on this email, asking if I would want to be on the show. I was like, "Yeah, sure."
And it shows the differences too, because giant blog. You're like, "Yeah, of course, dude," and then I'm like, "Sweet."
Yeah, exactly. It's like longest email thread ever. Sure. Okay.
That was great. Thank you, by the way, for showing up.
Yeah, of course,
that was
dude.
super short notice. But yeah, he's very
Shout out to
formal
Nick.
about things. Nick is awesome. He's very helpful. Things that aren't awesome. Changing topics a little bit. 2 former federal agents are charged with stealing a whack ton of Bitcoin during the Silk Road. What would you even call that? Pillage? When they just like wrecked Silk Road.
Yeah. So that was crazy. So if I remember the story right, and I'll probably be wrong again, even though I have some awesome
Whatever,
notes.
man.
Basically, Silk Road was it was around for a while, and actually
Yes.
this probably happened
Been a
maybe
few
a
of them,
year or
I
two
think,
ago.
even.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There's been Silk Road 1, I think, was quite a while ago, and there's been some kind of
Right.
like pop-ups and stuff, but I think they've the more recent ones have actually been from a different group just trying to kind of ride on the name, I think.
Yeah. Because they arrested the guy behind, I guess, this particular Silk Road.
Dread Pirate Roberts.
That's the greatest name ever. Just throwing it out there. If I'm going to
It's
be a
Ross
criminal,
Ulbricht, I think.
Shh, Dread Pirate Roberts sounds way cooler.
Yes,
like, if
it
I'm
does.
gonna be a criminal, I need a cool name like Dread Pirate
Just
Roberts.
legally change it. Yeah, my first name's Dread, middle name Pirate, last name Roberts. No big deal.
But yeah, so basically what happened was that the U.S. government, they became owners of a huge trove of Bitcoin because they seized the assets of Dread Pirate Roberts. I feel like I need an eye patch to say that properly.
Yeah.
But then now two of the former agents of the DEA and the Secret Service who were actually doing the investigation, they decided, we could keep a few of these Bitcoins, right? No one's gonna notice. I mean, it's internet money, right? Except it was worth like $1.1 million. And I think a couple people might have perhaps noticed, and now they've been charged with stealing. Actually, what are all the charges?
They've been charged
here?
with money laundering, wire fraud, and other various offenses. So, like, not small-time stuff at all. And it might cause some issues, too, because Dread Pirate Roberts made some agreements with these guys, like right here, where he allegedly paid them around $100,000 to keep certain things about Silk Road under wraps. They told them that they had more information, and they could not forward that information to their obvious employers if he paid them. And he actually did.
Wow.
And now that's complicating the case a little bit. Which
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, that's going to be a huge blow to the case, because if you're having some of the guys who were starting the investigation, who were working with the government at the time, if they were stealing, they were like involved in this whole deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's got to be a huge blow to the entire thing.
It is. Yeah, that could
a big
seriously
deal.
injure the integrity of the entire case.
That's crazy. This seems like if you just replace Bitcoin with, I don't know, like drugs or money or something, this could totally be like an awesome 70s cop episode. But instead, it's just like, oh, actually, it could be a slightly less awesome, like, I don't know, Law and Order episode. But it just everything about this seems ridiculous, especially Dread Pirate Roberts. That's the most ridiculous.
I love that, but yeah.
That's so good. But yeah, these guys stealing like $1 million worth of Bitcoin, probably not the greatest idea.
Why is my computer making noise? Auto-playing videos on websites suck, other than YouTube.
I hate that. I hate that.
So frustrating.
I would hope YouTube autoplay. That would be a little annoying if it didn't. But
yeah, that would be.
So these two
manually press the play button every time. But yeah,
these two brilliant guys didn't get too far with their $1 million in Bitcoin. And in fact, if you steal $1 million in Bitcoin, like, that would kind of be hard to spend, right? Like, I can't imagine that's as easy as just having $1 million in cash. For these guys, especially who've just been investigating it, like, what are you actually going to do with that kind of
it would
that
probably
kind of
be
money in
harder to
Bitcoin?
spend in order of like things that you would easily be able to buy, but it would probably actually be easier due to being untraceable or not very traceable.
I just wonder if these Bitcoins were just never reported in the original like seize, like when the government seized like these Bitcoins, or if they were like already known. I don't know. I'm not like a super expert on Bitcoin, as you might have been able to guess, but I don't know. I think it just doesn't seem like a particularly great idea just anywhere along this particular chain. So I don't know. It's weird.
The blockchain. Yeah, I feel like you'd be able to more easily move stolen money if it was in Bitcoins than in dollars, because dollars are a little bit easier to track, especially on the internet. So if they were trying to like launder it through other things, that would probably be not that bad of a process. But getting it out of whoever was managing this at the beginning, I don't know about that process. I have no idea what they did, and I feel like there would have to be some sort of transaction record, like they must have been paying attention, which is probably how they found them.
They got caught. So something along this happy little blockchain got messed up. So
yes. Yeah.
Oh well. That's crazy though. This whole thing is like shaping up to just be like this odd, like it's like getting close to being a movie, I think. Like, it just needs like a couple of extra little twists. I think this totally could be a good movie. Well, it could be a movie. I don't know how to say it's good. Probably. Most of these kind of like Bitcoin hacker movies are not very good, but
yeah,
I might watch it.
Yeah. I like Hackers, the movie. I thought that movie was fantastic.
Yeah.
But you're right. Anyways, moving to a completely different topic. April Fools happened. And of course, tons of giant tech companies did a whole bunch of different April Fools things. What were some of your favorites?
Oh man, this year I feel like was one of the first April Fools. I was just kind of over it. Like I liked the Motorola, the selfie stick. I think that was probably my favorite because that one, it was a good parody of Apple, and it was a good parody of just like this. If you guys haven't seen it, it's this great video where these artisans are making like crafting like the ultimate selfie stick out of like leather and wood, and like they're taking selfies. It's a good video. Like As
Yeah.
far as the April Fool's Day stuff went, it was good. I also liked the com.google where everything was
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
What did you like?
I like. I'm a little bit over it on some things with April Fool's stuff. I do like the high production quality video kind of stuff,
Yeah.
though, because I find it entertaining. So like I liked some of the Google ones where they were like, what like fiber, when they're like, oh yeah, DSL mode, because like it was just realistic enough, and the production quality was there that I was like, this is just awesome, because it's comedy at that point. And like Razer with their levitating mouse. I was like, what? That's so cool. Or Corsair with the ball mouse. Like, I love how they both did mice, but like I like the high production quality stuff. But
Yeah.
the forum voted in Google, Microsoft, Corsair, ASUS, and Razer. So all of the like most expected companies for people to vote for because they're popular. Because
For
we
no
had a
other
little
reason.
voting poll on the forum. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the ASUS one, but that's probably largely just because there wasn't a video.
That was
I
the
just like
E-Station thing,
videos.
right? Where they were
There
making
was
fun of consoles.
E-Station, and I think there was something else. But yeah, E-Station was definitely one of them.
That one, I didn't even think that was real. Like, I didn't even think it was a real April Fool's joke. I thought they were just like someone like in r/PC Master Race made it. And I was like, oh wait, this is actually real. Oh,
Right,
that's kind of
did
cool.
the ROG Neptune, which is like an LN2 cooled graphics card that you can just buy. But then, yeah, that's like my problem with that is the graphic of the actual Neptune looks really cool, and then the text around it is like borderline
Yes.
meme text. And I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it when people put a lot of effort into it, essentially.
Yeah,
That's the
I
April
like the
Fool's jokes
ones
still
that
like.
aren't mean and aren't stupid, right? Like a lot of them, like I saw a bunch of people were posting the Nvidia just bought Valve and they're gonna push out Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
It's like, dudes, just no, stop it. Just
Yeah.
that's not funny. That's not cool. That's just annoying.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a lot of the ones, and especially I think the thing that really bothers me most is like when companies kind of like they half-ass it. They're like, we'll like make some clever, witty thing. It's like obviously dumb and like it's not even funny.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a lot of those bother me because you can just see like some like marketing department. They're like, you know what? This will be funny. We'll do April Fools.
Yeah.
Let's come up with a terrible idea and no one will like it.
That's
Like
really
I just
cheap to
see
implement
that.
and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like, guys, come on. If you're gonna do it, at least do it right. If not, just please don't.
That's
It's
why I
not
said
funny.
I like the high production quality video kind of stuff because then it's like it's a proper experience that you're like, you know what, that was funny and that was cool. Like even PlayStation Flow. Like I knew people wouldn't vote for it because it's our forum, which that's fine. But like that was a really good video and that was hilarious. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so it's supposed to be like kind of like VR, but you only wear it for underwater sections in video games, and
What?
you like go dive in a pool, and it's supposed to be like realism and stuff. It's great, and she's like, yeah, even if you don't. My favorite part was when she's like, yeah, even if you don't have a pool, you can still experience flow. And they show someone like fake swimming in a bathtub. They show another dude fake swimming in a ball pit. And then someone else just like laying on a footrest thing, like swimming in their family room in the air. I'm like, this is so great.
Okay,
It was hilarious.
That sounds funny. I don't even need to watch that. That just sounds funny. All right,
Yeah.
I'll give
Yeah.
Sony props on that. That's pretty good.
I don't know. I thought that was entertaining. Like they obviously put a lot of effort into it, and like you know what? If they get some more publicity because of that, if they pushed really hard and made something really cool and really funny, that's fine. I'm cool with
Yeah,
that.
totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, moving on. Speaking of, I segued that entire topic. The reason why I brought April Fools up entirely was to
You're such a
segue
pro.
into this, which is Hyperkin's Smart Boy, which was
Yeah.
leaked on Reddit, and I don't know. It was definitely a like purposeful leak, and I think it was something to do with April Fools, and
Yes.
I don't think they were even actually planning on doing it. And then it like front paged so hard, and people liked it so much that they might actually be doing it now.
Yeah.
So it kind
okay.
of started as a joke.
Yeah, exactly. So it was originally, I believe it was a Hyperkin employee. They just posted it as a joke. It's like April Fools, whatever. If you guys haven't seen it, basically what it is it's kind of like a Game Boy shell. So Hyperkin, they make a lot of like emulators, or I guess
Yep.
would you call it an emulator? I guess. I mean, it plays like the
they're-
original cartridge.
Yes,
so.
but what it does is it pulls the ROM off the cartridge and then emulates it. So it's an emulator. Yeah.
Okay, so basically it would be like so you slide like an iPhone 6 in the top. It has like the actual like if you cover up like the bottom half of the screen, like you actually have like the Game Boy style buttons. Then you can actually put an original Game Boy card in the back. They said like it might be able to have a battery backup for the iPhone and all this kind of stuff. And you can actually play original Game Boy games on like an iPhone screen, which is obviously way better than the original Game Boy. So it's a cool idea, and apparently like you said, everyone was super excited about it, so they decided to do it, or they're putting it in development. So we'll see what it actually looks like. But I think my problem is how are they actually going to pull this off, right? Like I get it, yeah, you could absolutely have like a Bluetooth, or I don't know if iPhones support like actual wired controllers. I'm not sure if you could like hook it up via Lightning, but even if they couldn't, you can do like a Bluetooth controller.
Yeah.
That's fine. You can have like a battery in there. I'm sure they can work out a way. I know they already have lots of emulators for. I think even like some of their consoles already do Game Boy games, right?
Yeah, no, some of their consoles definitely do Game Boy games. I don't know a lot about what you can do with Lightning connectors because I haven't really been an iPhone user. Do you know if there's flash drives for iPhones?
Oh, that's a good question. I know there are micro USB ones.
That. Yeah, I know you can do that with Android phones.
I think the problem is I don't know what you could actually use a flash drive for on iOS. I know there's like an adapter that you can like get like a full-size USB port as well as I think it's the camera connection kit where you can also hook up like an SD card. Okay. But like when you do that, all it does is just takes it and brings it into like the Photos app. Like you don't get like a file manager.
That might be enough.
I'm not sure.
That's probably enough then, because if you can send data up. Well, of course you can send data up. You can move files from here. Okay, then that's fine, because all they would need to do is have the Hyperkin component pull the ROM off the card that you put in, or cartridge that you put in, sorry, and then bring it into an emulation app on your phone. And then it would just run an app on your phone. That would be totally fine. And then all they'd have to do is pull data and give battery life. This honestly doesn't even sound that hard to make.
There's one problem, though.
What?
Apple has always taken down any kind of emulation app, and I don't see why this would be any different, even if it's using the actual ROM data. So I get, like, if you had, like, a jailbroken phone, or maybe they have, because I know there was a Game Boy emulator that you could download in Safari, but it was like it was like a little hacky, like you had to reset your calendar to like a certain date, and I believe it would use like it would use some kind of certificate that was not originally meant for like just downloading random apps. I think it was for like a corporate thing or something. I don't remember the exact details, but so there might be some kind of workaround. But I feel like the biggest thing is they can't just put in an app that uses Game Boy, like that's a Game Boy emulator in the App Store. Like Apple would just take that down. So
yeah, Hyperkin could easily just develop it for Android.
Yeah, and I think even in the original post they mentioned that, I mean, they might be able to swap out Lightning with like micro USB. I think if they did that, it would be completely fine.
It would totally work. Yeah, that's no problem. The only problem you'd have with that is the form factor changing so much.
Right. So you'd have to make it for like a few different devices, or
have like adjustable slider things on the side or whatever. I don't know what they would do, but it would probably be a little bit more complicated because of that. But they'd be able to get around the no emulator stuff, which is probably would kill them unless they're able to talk to Apple and be like, but they have to have the physical cartridge, which helps a lot.
It definitely helps their case, but
it's still emulation.
Yeah,
definitely emulation.
I don't think Apple's going to be all that nice to them. I think this makes a lot more sense if you have like an Android phone with just a normal micro USB port. I think that would, in that case, it would be completely fine, and it would be no problem. But it's a cool idea. I can totally see rocking this giant battery Game Boy case and playing some old school actual Game Boy carts on my phone. That'd be dope.
I'd do it because I actually still play. Like I have the Game Boy 2DS.
Yeah.
Which I play like Smash and stuff on, but then I actually still get more use out of my Advanced and my Game Boy Color.
Wait, Advanced or Advanced SP?
I think you're probably an Advanced SP fan. I just have an Advanced.
Dude, the Advanced SP is so much better. You get the backlit screen, you get the foldable design, you get a rechargeable battery.
I haven't bought a new one. I have my same Advanced from like when it launched when I was a kid, and it still works. So I'm like, I don't know.
Dude, when the Advanced first came out, I was like so anti-SP. It's like, it's just junk. Like, cause I had like the giant adapter with the light, so like I could see the screen, which is like huge and bulky and annoying.
Yeah.
But like I was so sold on that. I was like, I'm never gonna get an SP. Then my friend got one. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then like I was completely sold. just getting a little off topic here. The SP is like my favorite Game Boy of all time because it plays every Game Boy game, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. It's got a rechargeable battery, and mine, I had the same battery in that thing for like 12 years, or 11 years. And it still worked. It still, I mean, it's like 20 minutes of battery life at the end, but it still worked.
Yeah.
It's the best. The only problem is the SP does not have a headphone jack, and you have to get this stupid dongle that hooks up to like the link port, and then plug in a headphone. It's really dumb. But besides that, Game Boy Advance SP Master Race.
Yes. The only game I like ever play is just my super old, I have no idea how the internal battery is still going, Game Boy Blue cart? Or Game Boy Blue, why did I say that? Pokemon Blue?
I don't think the first gen Pokemon games had issues with the battery running out. I know the second gen did because they had the clock and you would lose your save. I think the first gen, even if the battery dies, I think it only affects like, I don't think it's a big deal. I think the save data is still intact. I might be wrong. I know the second gen definitely has problems with that because I remember I had to solder like the new battery.
You actually
into it.
Oh, that's.
It's not hard. You just have to like pop off the back of it and you just like you solder on. It takes like 5 minutes. But I think the first gen games are okay.
I've actually been waiting because it's interesting that it doesn't now, so I know that. But I was kind of waiting for mine to die so that I could learn how to do that battery swap and just film a video about it.
Dude, I did a tutorial on it like in 2011.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's probably why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But it's not hard. It's not hard at all. You can get like, they even sell like the screwdriver. Like you can get like the kits of just like the couple batteries. Yeah. It's super easy, dude. And you can save like your old games that are dead. So if you have like any of the newer games that aren't saving or anything anymore, it's totally worth it. Because I know like some of those carts are like worth 30, 40, 50 bucks. But without a battery, they're like junk. So
yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of them around there. But anyway, side
sketchy.
Don't ever put a Game Boy thing on this list again. Just throwing that out there. Like it's a bad idea unless people want to hear Game Boy.
I like talking about Game Boy. Okay, you know what? Screw it. We're almost at the end of the show. I don't mind tangenting. We have only one topic left to do. We have time. The new 3DS, whatever the heck. What do you think?
New 3DS XL. All right. Yeah. So the first 3DS. So hang on. How far are you along as far as like 3DSs? Have you ever messed? You said you have a 2DS.
I have a 2DS. I've played with a 3DS. I've played with a 3DS XL. I just only personally have a 2DS.
So have you ever messed around with the original 3DS screen?
Yes.
And
in 3D?
Yeah.
Hated it. Absolutely hated it. Not even remotely okay with it.
So that's what the 3DS XL, I think for most people, that's the whole upgrade, right? So it has a little, I don't know if it's I know it has a front-facing camera like all 3DSs do.
But it can tell where you're sitting in relation to it,
and
right?
it's got like a cool like little graphic, like when you go to set it up, like it can actually see like your face, like as you move left and right and up and down, like it actually like tracks you. That makes a huge difference. I'm still not a massive fan of the 3D, but I feel like that upgrade alone makes the 3DS actually a 3DS. I think that's a big upgrade. There's some really stupid things like they moved every DS and 3DS model, I feel like they moved the stylus. Like it was on top, they had like the extendable one, then they put it on the right side, which is what they should do, and then now they have it on the bottom. It's just like, no, don't do that.
Stop.
So they moved that. The card slot's also on the bottom now, which is not on the top, which is weird.
That's weird, yeah.
And they've got a micro SD. Nothing wrong with micro SD. I think a full-size SD on like a portable is kind of dumb because that's just taking up a lot of space. But you have to unscrew the back to get at the micro SD. So it's it's not a big deal. I believe it's just a normal Philips.
Maybe why they did that.
Yeah.
It'd be super easy to steal it.
Well, the thing is, ever since like the DSi, you've had like a super like just flip a flap. Flip a flap.
Flip a flap. You got flip a flap.
You just gotta flip the flap and I can't say that. You have to delicately remove the flap. It's just getting worse.
You're not going to be able to do it.
I'm gonna push forward. Okay, so you can easily just remove this small bit of rubber, and you can pop out the SD card. So it's been like that ever since the original, like the DSi. So I don't know. There's some weird decisions there. Also, there's no normal new 3DS. So there used to be like the small 3DS.
Yeah.
Then they brought out the 3DS XL, which is they've had like I think they had a DSi XL, so no big deal. They brought out the 2DS, which is like the flat version that doesn't fold. It doesn't have 3D, which honestly I think is one of the better versions. But now they have a new 3DS XL, but they didn't replace the normal size. So if you want the new 3DS, you've got to get the XL. You've got to get the big, I think it's like 5-inch or something. It's a big console.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they have a normal 3DS, but they only sell it in Japan and I believe some other countries, but I know not here in North America.
Right.
That's a little bit weird to me. I know they were saying how they didn't, because they've already got the 2DS, they've got the new 3DS XL. They thought that 2 was enough. They didn't think they really needed 3.
Yeah.
I get that logic, especially because the 3DS XL is $200. So that would mean they have to chop the price of the normal 3DS. But I don't know. It's a good upgrade. I mean, there are some things like it's faster. Especially like the menus, I feel like I can't tell a huge difference, but like loading Smash.
I was just gonna say Smash load time. Big
I did a comparison of like I loaded them both up. I think it was like 15 seconds versus like 40 seconds. That's off the top of my head, but it's like it was a huge difference. So that's cool. But then on the flip side, Nintendo, again, backing up to the when they brought out the DS and they brought out the DSi, it was the same kind of thing, right? Like they could still play all the same games, but the DSi was faster, it had some additional features, and there were actual apps that you could download to the DSi. The 3DS is the same deal, but this time there are games that are coming out just for the new 3DS XL.
Yeah.
Right? So your 2DS is not going to be able to play a few new games, and I've seen more and more coming out. Like at first there was just like 1 or 2, and now I know there's at least 3 of them, I believe. And it's like it's like, what are they doing? They have this 3DS and yeah, exactly. So now you buy a 3DS game, which already confuses people with the 2DS because they don't know if that actually works. Yeah. And DS games, and now you have a 3DS game, but it's the new 3DS game, so it doesn't work on your old 3DS or your 2DS. Whoa. And it's called the new 3DS.
Yes.
That's not confusing at all.
Terrible.
Right?
They're doing so bad with their naming. Yes, like you just said, buying a 2DS and then being like, no games exist for this is genuinely a problem.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And then the new thing is messed up, and it's when you call games like new whatever, that's not nearly as big of a deal as calling a console new whatever.
Right. At least it was the DS and the DSi, right? Like there was because like you can just say, oh, I've got the new 3DS. You mean like the new 3DS or just a new 3DS? I don't know. Which games does it play? I don't know. It doesn't play some games. It just nothing about this makes sense. So yes, the new 3DS XL, in my opinion, is a better console. Like there are some cool upgrades, and just apples to apples. Yeah, sure. If you're just gonna go buy a new 3DS, get the 3DS XL. It's better. No big deal. But just so many dumb decisions on the part of Nintendo on this whole thing. It drives me crazy. Like, what are they thinking? Like, I could go on this for a long time. I should stop. Right. But
I have to call it. Someone in the chat, Pink Snowbirdie, just said 3DS 1. Amazing idea. Should definitely do that. Just call it the 1, just like everybody else was.
Like no. What do we at? Well, so there's Xbox One, HTC One. I feel like there's another one, right?
1+1.
1+1. That's the one.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Names, guys. Learn how to do them. And Apple does the same thing. Going down the rabbit hole even more when they do like the new MacBook. Can you give it a name, please?
Yeah. So just
like everyone's gonna be searching new MacBook. Great.
Like when my friends like, hey, do you know like I want to get a new laptop? Do you know how much my MacBook's worth? And I'm like, I can check local sites for you or whatever. And they're like, cool. Like, which MacBook do you have? Oh, like a Pro. Which one? They're like, I don't know. It just says Pro. I don't know. I'm just like, oh, come on.
And that's the thing. Like the new MacBook. So there's the MacBook, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, which is fine. Like that's different enough. But
that's an alright lineup. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. Like it's like the MacBook Pro 2015 or 2013. Like that's okay. Like you buy a car, it's like a 2015 Civic, right? It's easy enough to kind of understand that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like they've done the same thing with like the iPad, right? Like wasn't one of the iPads was like the new iPad?
Yeah.
And then now they've retroactively changed the name to like iPad 3 or something. It's just, guys, names are not that difficult.
And like have it on the product. If it's MacBook Pro 2015, have it say MacBook Pro 2015.
Yeah, not like you have to decipher the serial number and go, it ends in 3. That must mean it's a 2013. No, stop. Just no.
Ridiculous. Moving into what I think might be our last topic is Intel launches 750 series NVMe SSD, 2.5-inch and PCIe. Give me 1 second.
Wait, there's a 2.5-inch? What?
There's a 2.5-inch. I have it.
Oh wow. You have it?
I have it.
I did not even. I thought it was just PCIe only. Oh, that's awesome, dude.
It is super awesome.
That completely went over my radar.
The poopy part about the story is I can't plug it in. Yeah, custom cable required. So ASUS is actually going to end up hooking us up super hardcore. Unfortunately, the cable didn't show up, I think largely due to the extended holidays due to Easter and stuff. But hopefully I'll be getting it early next week, and hopefully I'll be able to test this super quickly before I have to leave. But yeah, super sick drive. It's supposed to be 4 times the reads and 2 times the writes of current SATA SSDs, because it is a SATA Express drive. So you're not going to just plug normal SATA cables into this guy. It needs a SATA Express connector. It's coming in 400 gigabyte and 1.2 terabyte capacities, which
and
is
the prices aren't bad. The prices aren't bad at all. I feel like it's like the 400 gig is somewhere around $400. Like that's actually, I mean, it's expensive, but it's not.
Yes.
It's not like sell a kidney expensive like a lot of PCI SSDs have been in the past. I think that's awesome. But hang on, let me go back a little bit. So the 2.5 inch, it's not a SATA drive.
It's SATA Express. That's a custom connector. That needs,
so that's the cable. So you have to route a cable from the drive to a PCI Express slot.
Yeah, and what the cable that Intel sent me is PCI Express to HD Mini SAS, not like PCI Express to PCI Express, because I have a few boards that can take that. So the connector that I'm hopefully getting is going to be HD Mini SAS to M.2. So it's going to be like this.
That's also not complicated or confusing whatsoever.
So hopefully that shows up, and hopefully I'll be able to test it, because honestly, this drive looks absolutely sick.
Yeah. I mean, so you said it's like 4 times. So isn't it supposed to be like north of like 2 gigs of like reads, I think? 2 gigabytes per second?
Exact, because I haven't tested it yet personally.
Yeah,
so I tried to stay off a little bit. But it looks like sequential reads 2.2, yeah.
Ooh, yes,
and the 1.2 terabyte has 2.4.
It's funny, like when the first like SATA SSDs were coming out, and everyone's just losing their mind at how great they were. But then for a while there, for me, I was like, okay, they're pretty much all the same, especially nowadays. Like most SATA drives, SATA SSDs that you buy today, you're not really going to be able to tell a major difference. Like they've kind of all saturated. So when some of the first PCI Express SSDs came out, I was like, sweet, this is way faster. Like I could tell a difference. But these were like 1 gigabyte per second, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
I would like to see if making that next step to like the 2 gigabytes per second is actually going to be able to be noticeable. Because I feel like there's got to be somewhere along this chain where it looks good as a benchmark, but I mean, is it actually going to be noticeable?
Is it realistic? That's one thing that I plan on testing. Give me one quick second, because a whole bunch of people in the chat are getting mad at me. I phrased something a little bit weird. It's not SATA Express. You're right, but I don't know if you can still hear me.
So now that he's gone,
no, I'm not completely.
No, I was going to take over.
Right. It is not SATA Express, but it uses that type of a connector.
I can't see, but I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust that it's some kind of connector that it connects things. Maybe.
My headphones. I couldn't hear you, sorry.
I can't see what you're saying, so I'm just going to assume it's some kind of connector that connects things.
Yes.
The joke wasn't as funny the second time.
So it's SFF8639, which is like completely baller sauce. Anyways, I want to actually test this drive out. I know I said that in a weird way, and Twitch chat corrected me. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's the connector that I'm using on the actual drive. Da-da-da. So that goes into the drive, which is the connector I just talked about, and then this is the mini SAS, HD mini SAS that I have, which is like totally different.
So this is a PCIe 3.0 4X, right?
This is a 2.5 inch drive.
No, I mean, I'm sorry, like the connector that it needs 4 lanes of PCI 3.0, right?
Oh yes, I believe so.
So I wonder how that's going to affect. I mean, that's a lot of bandwidth, right? Like if you've got like maybe like multi GPUs and stuff, like you're gonna run out of lanes pretty quick, right?
That's already been an interesting story, even without having these types of drives. So that's even going to become more interesting down the line, and especially if you get like multiple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like obviously RAID and stuff, not really, but yeah, you could still possibly have multiple drives. So that's gonna be an interesting story. We're gonna need more lanes.
Yeah, and on top of that,
in like the now, not even.
I believe it doesn't actually support like it's not just like you plug it in like a SATA drive. I believe only some of the more recent Intel chipsets like X99 and Z97. I'm pretty sure those are the 2 that are supported out of the box, right?
Yeah. Those are the only
So-
ones I've seen stuff on it.
So you're gonna have some problems. Although I believe Ryan Strout, I think he was talking on Twitter that he got it working on a AMD APU, or at least, hang on, let me back up a little bit. It will work on other platforms, but as far as like using it as like your actual boot drive, you're gonna have some problems because it's not really meant to. Like the motherboard doesn't know what it's looking for.
Well, that's also like Ghost just said. You can't raid them, only software raid. That's why I said "Bleh" when I talked about raid. Is because it's not going over like standard drive
Right.
stuff. It's kind of a weird solution.
It's an all new frontier. It's so much to be
Yes.
discovered.
Yes, I'm super excited to test it, and I'm gonna try to do a bunch of the kind of stuff that you brought up, which is like things where a lot of people kind of stopped testing them because it was like, well, you can't really notice a difference. I'm gonna retry some of those with this and see if you can notice a difference. So the testing, I will definitely have numbers for everything and go like it was exactly this fast, but I'm also gonna try and give an objective opinion of actually using the computer, where it's like, oh, it's however percent faster, which might sound like a lot, but do I actually notice this, and does it actually affect my workflow in any way at all, or is it exactly the same essential conclusion in the end?
And are you hitting like bottlenecks in like the CPU or memory before the drive is actually
something else in the system? Yeah, so I'll be trying
it's cool though.
a bunch of different things.
I can totally see for $400. I mean, if you want to get like somewhat of a high-end gaming PC build, I mean, this thing's way faster than a normal SATA drive. And I know that even if it's not hugely like faster than like even like a normal PCI Express slot, which is like a gig or whatever, a lot of the current SSDs are. I mean, I could tell the difference, like I said, between like going from like 500 megs read to like a gig. So even if you can't tell the difference, like paying $400 for a 400 gig, or roughly 400, I think it's somewhere in that neighborhood, for a 400 gig SSD that's that fast, that's awesome. I think that can go into a lot of gaming PC builds, where before it was like, this is PCI Express, and it's just got like RAID controllers and SATA, and it's a big mess just waiting to happen. Like this is like, it's all native, right? It's all native. Was it NVMe?
Yes, NVMe. Yeah.
So
finally kind of moving away from HCI, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I've been comfortable there for a little while.
Yeah, it's like, I finally got this figured out. Oh, great.
Oh, damn.
Okay, well, time to learn some new stuff.
NVMe, I think is going to be totally sick, so I'm really excited to test this drive. But that's it for the show.
Wah, wah.
So I have to jump back to that failure intro tab that we have, which is totally not even working right now. Did the stream just crash? No. Yes. Okay. We're good.
No, yes? What?
No, yes. The worst thing that could ever be said on a show. DollarShaveClub.com/Linus. Sorry for not switching to your lower third. You guys are awesome. I shave my face with that all the time. I literally shave my face with your company. So I don't know what you want to say about that, but yeah. Anyways, also FreshBooks. If you are a small business or a freelancer, I know I was for a long time. Handling your own books can be super annoying. My dad was running a small business for a long time, and I think there's still people he hasn't billed like now, and he hasn't been running that company for like what I assume would be about a year now. So maybe if he had FreshBooks, he would have been able to do that a little bit better. Not to rag on my own dad.
Dude,
but,
I just did my own taxes, and I went through piles of receipts trying to organize it. I hear you, and that sounds like a good idea.
Yes, completely agree. All right, I'm going to try to roll the intro and not fail. Let's see. Come on. Yes.
Intro.
Except it's lagging.
This show's been lagging. I wouldn't complain too much.
Yeah.
Imagine awesome music. Woo. I'm having to pretend because I can't say anything at all right now.
No, I know.
Just gonna imagine what the intro looks like.
It's always weird to forget. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Later.